Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me. So we're going to carry on with the little golden book journal today. I didn't have time to gild it before doing this video. I will do that later. But I thought we would just get a move on with sorting the signatures, because that is, you know, a bit of a step to do. And I thought it might be helpful for you to see what I was planning for my signatures. So what we've got here, so when you dismantle the book, as we did in the last part, you get your two signatures of papers. So what I thought when making my journals was that immediately makes it very easy for this to just be a two signature journal. So we've got one and we've got two. So let's start with the first one. So I've put some papers together just as a base to start. So I thought I would show you what I've got. So I've got some scrapbooking papers as my covers for each signature, which I'm going to have a picture in the front here and a ruffle. We're going to have a pocket on the back. Obviously I want to cover up this white. So this was basically just 12 by 12 folded up to give you this pocket. I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to keep it like that or cut it and just glue it back on. It just sort of depends how it does, you know, cracking and folding wise. Then I've got a couple of these sheets. These two are scrapbooking papers from a charity shop that are not card, they're more like paper. So I thought these would just be a fun addition, and they're blank on the back for writing. So I've got a couple of those. I've got some parchment paper which is slightly see-through, and that I've put lined paper behind so you can see the lines here as you're writing. So I've got the lined paper. I've put Christmas cards in. So I've got a Christmas card, a music sheet which I'll fold up and such like. I haven't cut anything down yet. I've got this sheet of paper. This is from a card making kit. Colours wise I thought it was nice, and it's blank on the back again for writing. And then the middle is colouring book pages. Now this is how they were. They just came out of the book as singles. I think somewhere I've got the cover. It's this, I Heart Colouring Christmas. Just something I found on eBay. But I thought they would be fun middles. So I'm going to join them together and have these reindeer in the middle. And what I thought was, I've got these 6x6s, and I thought we could attach them to the colouring book pages to have pockets of some kind. So I've got, you know, front and back. It's kind of what I was thinking. And then again, it just repeats itself. Obviously I would have to cover the back of the Christmas card. No digitals, because obviously you were using the book pages. So just fun papers. I think the other signature is much the same. So again, the cover image, a couple of those. This one's got a colouring book page as just an interesting page. There's the music sheet, there's the parchment and lined paper, there's another one of those, and the colouring book pages. So they're mostly the same. When we come to do these, we're going to have extra papers, because the way that I'm going to do this is not to cut the book pages, because I don't want to lose any of the image itself. I don't want to lose any text. I don't want to chop through people's hands or anything. I'm going to fold them instead, and I'm going to fold them where these staples are, which gives you extra bits and bobs that you can use in interesting ways. This is, that idea comes from Gail Agostinelli, I hope I'm saying that right. When she did one of her golden books, she did it this way, and as soon as I saw that I thought, brilliant, I'm going to do it that way myself. Okay, so I need to remember how I did this in the first one. So I'm going to start with the first page, and as I say, I want to fold where these staples are. So I'm just having a little look-see and just seeing what I will be folding into. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold, what's that, about a centimetre-ish? Essentially, when we dismantled the book, you had the spine, you know, these staples were right in that spine, weren't they? You know, the original book spine. So essentially you're just folding that back in on itself. So when we look at the front page, I haven't necessarily lost anything major. Like, I haven't lost part of the title, I haven't lost any of the imagery. Maybe I went a little bit over because this now doesn't match there, but it's like minuscule, it really doesn't matter. So then when we turn this page like this, I haven't lost any reindeer's bums. I haven't lost anything from here, although I'll probably put a pocket along that writing anyway. And what you get on this side is you get this flap. Now this, you could fold it over like this and have a tuck spot, but you would miss part of the part of the word sky. You would maybe cover up this little reindeer. I don't want to do that. So this is actually going to be essentially the beginnings of a page, and you'll see what I mean as we go through. So I'm just going to keep on folding, and again I'm making sure to check, what am I folding, where am I folding, am I losing any of my picture on the front? Hopefully not. And just checking that. So it's a bit of a process, but I think it's worthwhile doing. I think a lot of people do just cut the pages, don't they? But for me, I felt like this made more sense. So I'm just keeping them together so I don't lose the order. And then this is the last one. So I don't know whether to, no. I suppose, yes, I'm going to fold it this way actually, just to get a little bit of balance so we don't all have the tip-ins at the back of the journal. I don't think that makes a difference which way we fold them or anything. And you should find by doing this, depending on how much you fold over, you should find that it helps you to get the pages to be the size of the new book cover now that you've added your bigger spine in. Okay, so just pop those into position. As I say, that will be hidden there. So we'll have a tip in here. Just checking that it still works. Yeah, that's all fine. And then, oh, that's actually better because now this is like, well, I suppose we'd be putting something in the middle there, wouldn't we? Let me just check. So I'm just going to fold it backwards like I've been doing the other ones, just to see if that does make a difference, because I don't want to, you know, I want to keep pages together where possible. Oh, that's already, yeah. I was trying to work out a way to join those together, but I'm not going to be able to. I'm sure, I might have been able to, but instead I'm going to fold it the other way. Sorry. I'll do the other one. I'll do the other signature, and you'll come to see what I'm doing, hopefully. That's the middle, yeah. Okay. It will become clear once we start adding the tip-ins, which we'll try and do today if I don't dilly-dally too much, you know. Okay, so that's that one. So that goes with this. And that's that one for the second signature. So again, I'll just start at the front. So again, I'm just checking that I'm not using any imagery. Checking the middles as well. Normally the middle is normally okay, but just to be sure. Okay. As I say, Gail did have a video on how she did it, so if I'm not making any sense, hopefully her video will make more sense. And again, just fold this one backwards. So yeah, as I say, all I'm doing is just making sure that I'm not losing any of my nice imagery by not folding over too much or anything. So that's all of those folded now. Hopefully they're straight. Can't really see what I'm doing. Hang on, let me just... I think my sleeves are getting in the way. There we are. Needed today though is actually the first day of the year where I've actually felt cold. Okay. So what you can see is it sort of does this, doesn't it? Where we just simply are folding this back. But what you can see is you're not losing any of your nice imagery. You know, it's better than folding it this way and then having this come out, which is doable. I just think this is maybe a bit nicer for the book pages that we're using. Okay, so that's signature number 2. I'm hoping this will become clear. So I now want to start distributing these into this, and I may change my mind about things as we go, but essentially I'm just looking to see where we want the first book page. Yeah. So as I say, I want this to be my signature cover instead of the title book page. So I'm happy with how that looks. And I kind of want to just distribute them in between the not book pages. So, you know, we've got some nice imagery, we've got some writing spots, type of a thing. So I've got one left. I think I want to keep the Christmas card and the music page together because they're singing. So kind of wanted those to be kept together. So then the last one is this one, which, and the other thing that you want to see is, are there any images that you want to keep together? Like for example, this one. I don't think so. I don't think it's an issue. So let's try that. And again, I'm looking to see what colours go together as well. So, you know, we've got some nice colours. So just pop those in and see how we get on. Do we still like it? Yeah. In a minute, I'll tell you how many pages I've got here as well. So the one thing that I don't like is I don't like that you can see this, although I like that it's mirrored there. So maybe I'll keep it like that. Maybe. Everything is prone to change, isn't it? Okay, so we'll go with that for now. And again, we'll do the exact same thing. So as I say, I'm just interspersing the book pages with all the fun scrapbooking papers and such like. Yeah, I think we could do with a bit of colour. So let's bring this one in. And I was just using scrapbook papers that I've just got in my stash. Nothing fancy at all. And we'll put this one here. And again, I'm just making sure that there's, you know, some colour and some writing space. You know, we've got colour there and colour again, so I think that's all fine. You know, writing space and a nice imagery, all the rest of it. Okay. And this will be covered. I'm going to put something on this. I just don't know what yet. Yeah, like that, like that. Okay, right, that is the second signature underway. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is what we're going to do with those little flappy bits. Okay, so let's go back to signature number 1. So I'm going to find my first tip in. So what I mean by that is when we folded the book pages from the book, we have these, don't we? These little flappy things. So those are what are known as tip-ins. Now, there are lots of options for these. As I say, you could glue it down, you know, 2 sides and have that be a pocket. Nothing wrong with that. You could even put some, you know, something over this if you want to cover up your staples. Some washi, some nice paper, ribbon, lace, whatever you like. We could do that. Or the alternative is to essentially make this a page, and that's what's known as a tip-in. So some ideas that I had for doing this is you could use envelopes. So we would slice the bottom of the envelope open, put that over that little flap, and this flap would be hidden. So we would have, when you turn this, you're turning the envelope. I hope that makes sense. So you could do it with envelopes, you could do it with a piece of paper folded in half, sandwiched here. You could glue a piece of paper here and just have that be, you know, the beginnings of a page. Essentially, it's a hinge with which you can do what you like to it. So I'm going to take a breath. I'm just going to have a little look-see through the signature and check that I'm happy whilst I've got you on pause. So I just want to make sure that I like where everything is and that I'm definitely happy, and then I'll show you what I've got. I think I'm also going to have to obviously cut down these signatures. So I'm going to get that done off screen because it's not very exciting to watch. So I'm just going to get them all cut down to size. The size that I'm doing is the exact height of my book because I don't want to cut the book pages down. And then obviously I want to make sure that there's enough room for everything, that I'm not going to have papers hanging out the outside. So let me get these cut down and I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm back. I was just going through the signatures, and what I didn't like was these pages. So this was actually part of the second signature in the book. So I'd put it in the second signature of the journal. But I don't like that these 2 pages would be completely all the way separate. For one reason, I really like this imagery together. Another reason is this sentence ends in a comma, so it continues on this page. So I'm going to try something a little bit different, and it may or may not work. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put the camera on and we're just going to see. So I'm actually going to separate these 2 pages. This one is going to go in the second signature of the journal as normal. And this one, I was thinking to glue these 2 hinges together like that. So this page, which has the flap folded over just like we've been doing, would be glued onto here, and they wouldn't then be separate. So we'd have this completely together, we'd have this, and we would still have a hinge to put something on. I'm going to do that. It seems to have worked, so I'm glad I put the camera on. So let me just mark that down. So I'm just going to glue them together, and I'm going to get on and do it now, because there's no reason why we can't. And essentially this is a tip-in itself. The book page has become a tip-in because we're just gluing it into that flap, or onto that flap, that hinge, as an extra page essentially. So why I'm doing this over my journal, I don't know, but so I'm just going to come in like this and just glue the 2 hinges together. Now I didn't have to do this in my first journal, the puppy one, because, well, I didn't have this problem in the other journal, which you'll see in the flip through. Okay, so there we are. That's better, isn't it? So yeah, they don't completely match, but that's okay. I used the art glitter glue, so it's too late now, but that's fine. You can always, I don't know, put some lace down or something, but I just didn't want to lose, just didn't want to have those pages can be not together. So that seems to have worked okay, like that. Oh, I see. Yeah, they don't match completely because we have folded part of the page over. That's why. So maybe there was a way to avoid that, but for the most part it looks like it does go together, so that's good. And we still have this hinge for putting another tip in, which I'll get to. So then that other page, this is the second half of that page we've just glued in. This can come in the second signature, and this can get glued onto this hinge. So we will still have a hinge to add in like that, and this is no longer a single page, which is not a problem. It could just be washied in or something, but I just think this is a bit cleaner. So again, I'm just going to get some glue on here. Sorry, I was just going through and double checking the signatures and stuff, and I thought, oh no, I don't want to separate those images. So I thought I would just pop the camera on in case it's helpful to anyone seeing that, you know, there are ways around these things, and we're all going to make our journals differently. Sorry, I'm just at a bit of a funny angle. Let's try that. Yeah, we're all going to do these journals differently, and I just thought, well, I'm going to share what I'm doing in case it is helpful. But as I say, not a tutorial, none of this is completely new to me, but it's a fun thing to figure out, definitely. Okay, so that is now hooked onto there in the second signature, so that's going to go like that and like that, and we still have something here where we can put something else in. Right, so I'm going to hit pause again. I'm going to carry on. As I say, I just wanted to show you that, and I'll come back and just reconfirm what my signatures look like, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I thought next job would be to show you some ideas for the tip-ins that I mentioned. So one option is you can take a scrap bit of paper, in this case scrapbooking paper, and you can simply fold it in half, and we're going to glue that onto our hinge, our flap. What that would give you is a narrow page if you're just using scraps. Likewise, you could do, you know, a full width, but in this case it was just a scrap piece. So when I turn my page over, I can still see Father Christmas with the presents like that. I thought that would be nice. So let me take this page out. I'm going to keep this open so I don't lose where that was going. And we're going to glue this onto our flap. Nice and easy. And then it's a really sturdy page for pockets and things as well. So we'll start here. So I'm just going to get some glue on the hinge flap. I think I'm going to call it a hinge, you know, rather than say hinge and flap. Okay, this isn't directional, so it doesn't matter which way I go. So I've already cut it down to the size, the height of the book page, because we want to completely hide our flap, hinge. I'm going to call it a flap, hinge or flap, whichever words you use. Now I've got a little bit of a blue border. I don't mind that at all. If it was a white border, you could put some washi down, you could ink it. I'm really not bothered about that bit of blue. Okay, and then we want to glue the other side onto the other flap, so it would be like this, so essentially like that. Now this is where you can get really fancy. Well, I say fancy, you can do some fun things, like, are you going to glue it all the way straight down and just have it be a page? Are you going to glue it so that you could have this be a top pocket? There are options, which I'm just thinking, what do I want to do? You could even have it fold out and just be writing space, actually, because this is blank. Which I quite like the idea of, actually. Just for that extra journaling space. So if I was to do that, then I would want to put something on here. So we could put a pocket on there, or some washi, or some scrapbook of paper to cover that up. So I'm not going to glue it then, because I may have that as fold out writing spot. So that is an option. As I say, I could have glued it as a pocket. I could just glue it all the way down and just have it be a sturdy page. Or in this case, maybe I'm going to keep it because we've got some nice white on the back. So if we slip this into our book, this is what we've got then. So if we turn the page, so there we are. So we've got our reindeer, the pages that I wanted to keep together, and then we've got this for fold out writing spot. So yeah, we can definitely cover that with something fun. I like that. And then that will still fold over and we can see our Santa. Okay, so that is an option for a tip-in for those little flat hinge pieces. Okay, so another option for your tip-ins is to use envelopes. I've got this nice red envelope that goes very well with my Santa. So again, we want to cut the top of it, or the bottom, to the size of our book page. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. This envelope has my address on it, so I've just got to keep it, keep it this way round. Okay, so get rid of that, we don't need that. And then we also want to open up the bottom of it, so this is the bottom of the envelope, to just a slither, or as much as you need to cut your envelope, but enough that it opens. And we're cutting not the flap side, we're cutting the bottom of the envelope. So just a slither so it opens up. So bring in our page. So what we've got is an opening like this, which we then can hook over our hinge. If I can see what I'm doing. Why does that not want to move up? Hang on, let me just have a look at this envelope. Sorry about that, my husband was just offering me a tea. Isn't that nice? Okay, so my envelope, I cut it slightly short. Can you see? I've got a little bit of a teeniest bit, which is not a problem. I'll just cut that off. It's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we are going to glue. So we're going to put some glue on the flap. That's the easiest thing. So just like we've been doing. This makes up for some really interesting, fun, unique pages when you do stuff like this. And you can do this in any journal. It doesn't have to be a golden book journal. Let me just make sure. Whoops. Sorry. I was trying to talk to you and then I realised, concentrate, Justine, because I want to make sure I'm getting this in the right place. Because we don't want to go over our crease and have that be all weird. So yeah, just glue that onto your flap, ideally as straight as you can manage. Okay, so that's one side done. I just need to glue the other side just in the same way. Okay, so yeah, just some more glue along there, all done. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. And then from here you can decide, do you want to keep the envelope flap free to, have this space? Do you want to keep it as a side, a top opening? what do you want to do with it? So in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the flap closed. So I'm just going to follow the edges of the flap just to seal it up, basically, because I'm probably going to put something over here. But I've left the top opening, because if I wanted to put a long tag down there or something, I could. And I'm not going to make a decision yet. So that's the great thing about these, is when you're building your journal, you know, if you keep things open, you can make a call later. Okay, so then that becomes your page. So that just opens up like that. Isn't it fun? Silly me for using an envelope with my address on, but you know. So we can then slip that in. Now, what you might find as well, you might find you've got this situation going on. If you see that at any case, that just indicates a part where you just need to glue those together. That's just where we had the, you know, we folded the pages back on themselves. So just run some glue in there, get that closed up as well. Okay, I hope this is clear what I'm doing. So then we have this, and we've got our nice envelope page like that, and it just works just the same as any other page. You just turn it over and it's good. So as I said, I've got this teeniest little bit. So what I'll do is I'll just come in with my scissors, and I'm just going to just snip it to the size of the envelope. Like that. Like that. So what you can see is it steps a little bit, but when you've actually got it in the signature, you can't really tell, and then you can just use it like that. Okay, so we've done folded over scrapbook paper, we've done envelope. Now for the last one that I'm going to show you, and there are lots of ways, you know, you can use any paper. Yeah, you can use so many things on this. If you've got small sheets of paper, so I've got 8x8s, which just happens to be the height of the page that I need. You can also use two separate sheets as well. So this is the next option. So I want that page. I'm just going to put that back so I don't get lost. I hope I'm not confusing you as much as I'm confusing myself. Right, I'm just going to mend that. Looks a bit wonky. I think I've just folded things funny. Let's see if we can just... That's it. Right, so you've got your two sheets. So I'm going to have this green, or am I? I think I'm going to have the holly side, and then we're going to have the green side on the back. So get your two sheets of paper. Again, we're just going to run some glue on the flap. Sorry if you can see the top of my head. It's gone a little bit dark. It's absolutely torrential downpour outside, so I just want to make sure I can see. So you come in with your first bit of paper, and you just want to leave a little bit of space where you're going to do your binding, and where the page needs to be able to turn without anything getting in the way. So I've left the tiniest of gaps, like 1/8 of an inch, a millimeter kind of size, like really small. But that just means then that you can, you know, turn your pages and stuff without any issues. I'm just going to bone folder that down. There we are. Sometimes you need to do that because we're obviously messing with how the pages were folded and stuff. Okay, and then we're just going to glue the other sheet of paper on the other side. So again, we're going to run some glue on the other side of the flap this time. So I'm hoping this is giving you lots of ideas. As I say, I love to do this in journals because you can get so many different ideas for how you're going to put pages in. I did a video as part of the Christmas in July collab, which was showing a shaker page. I'll make sure that that is in my Christmas journal playlist, or Little Golden Book playlist. I'll make sure it's in there. Okay, just want to make sure that's glued down properly. And then from here you can decide what you're going to do. Are you going to have fun things like folding out? Are you going to keep the pages open? So if I bring it into my signature, hopefully this will make more sense if I get it in front of me. So this one. So we've got our centre. This is what we've just glued. So, you know, you could fold things and have this open up for all this extra journal space. You would just want to hide where you've got the hinge. You could glue them all the way down. You could have this fold over if you had some nice, you know, a nice back to it. You could glue them to give you a side pocket. You could glue them to give you a top loading pocket. There's so many ways to do it. So what I'm doing, whilst I'm building the journal, and I don't know what ephemera is going in here yet, I'm actually leaving these completely open so that I can decide whether they're going to be a journal space or a pocket. The only thing that I do want to do is, obviously, I need it to come down to the size of the page. So if we pull it back out again, and we're going to grab our trimmer, and then all we're going to do is just trim it to the size of our page. So I'm just using this one as a guide. So we've got some nice little offcut pieces, and that should be the size of our book page, or maybe a little bit bigger. Probably afford to bring off a little bit more, actually. But, you know, you don't have to cut it. You could have it fold over. As I mentioned, you could have it fold back on itself. Because mine are only plain on the other side, I'm choosing to cut them because I don't think they're worth folding over as tuck spots, but you could do that. But I like the idea of opening it up for journal space potentially. If you were going to do that, you would need to crease down here like this. So you would get a crease here, and that would be like your new hinge. But I'm not going to do that on mine because I don't know if I want journal space or pockets. When gluing your papers, you might find that things are a bit hinky. Maybe you can see things are not quite lining up. If you see that, you can just trim off any excess that you see, just with a pair of scissors. Okay, so I just want to check if that is all of my tip-ins that I had planned. So I'm hoping I wasn't going too fast. I just really wanted to get this done in one video, so you didn't have to, I didn't want to drag it on, you know. Okay, so what have we got? We've got this. Nice bits of writing space. I love that page. Sorry, I love this. I love that. Okay, we've got writing spot, we've got our Christmas card and our music sheet. So this is a tip-in that I did off camera. This is just the two bits of paper stuck together. As you can see, I haven't decided whether I want writing space or a pocket. I loved these colours together though, and it's got all the presents and the Christmas trees. Oops, sorry. Like that. So as you can see, it just works really nicely as a page. we've got our paper. As I said, this is the centre. So I'm going to join the colouring book pages together with some washi. And then I'm going to attach these onto the colouring book pages as either top or side, probably side pockets. But I'm just not doing it yet because I don't know what size these need to be. Because as you can see, I've not cut any of my big pages down to size yet. I've got that fun job next. Okay, Christmas card, writing papers. We've got a nice book page there. That's our envelope. This is the one I did off camera. I should have done this one with you because it doesn't have my address on it, but you know. I didn't realise that. So as you can see, this one just goes like this, and I've got this one open as a top loader, just like the one we did together, because I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with those yet. And like this, you can see all the red and green. Okay. That's the one where we've got the fold out at the moment, and that might have a top spot in there, plus the writing space. Still see centre. There's our pocket, so that's that. And then for the second signature, see I've got these. Sometimes you just have to double check that your papers are folded in the right place. You know, if you've done it by hand, then yeah. Cover that. There's our two writing spots. That's that. That's the middle of the signature, same as before with the colouring book pages. That's the envelope that we did together. So this one is a top loader at the moment. Whether it stays like that is I'm not sure. We shall see. So yeah, as I say, where you've got folds, you need to go in with some glue just in there, just to get those down. So remember to do that. I always forget. That's the pages we joined together at the beginning. And this is our new, either a writing spot or a pocket or just a page, depending on what you want to do. Because I liked the hollies together, and then you turn over and you've got the nice presents. And I liked it for the fact that this has got green on it, and it reflected nicely, I thought. Whew, that is that. We got there in the end. So the other idea for tip-ins, just whilst I'm here, if you've got any long, like large Christmas cards or journal cards or something of that nature, you could use those as well. Just in the same way, you're just gluing it on and just putting something along the back. Because I did think I was going to use this Christmas card, but it just didn't seem to be right because it would be this way round. So I'm going to leave it there. I really, really hope that was helpful to see. I'm sorry if it wasn't very clear. I did feel like I was a bit all over the place, but it's only because I'm new to this and I'm still trying to make decisions over what I want. But I hope it was helpful to see how I folded the pages, what papers I've used, and how I was doing the tip-ins. So the next jobs for me is, obviously I need to cut all my other papers down to size so that they fit in here. So I'll do that off camera. Yep, as you can see, I've got, I need to, cut some off the edges and definitely the top. So yeah, I need to do that. So I'll do that. Obviously, I still need to do the gilding from before, add in the lace and crochet. I did think about closures whilst in between these videos. I'm probably just going to have an eyelet closure and have some red ribbon as the tie. So I'll put eyelets front and back. And then I'm thinking also to have an eyelet in the centre here, the top centre, to attach my tassel, because I've got a really fun tassel I made last year that I want to use for this one. So I'm going to have that in between my two signatures. So I suppose the next time that you see this, it should be, the cover should be completely finished, and I should have bound it in. So yeah, the next steps really are for us to, we'll start filling it decorating and filling. That's sort of the only things really left to do, like, you know, on video. So I will go and do that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video if you're watching this series. As I say, I hope that was helpful. So we'll speak soon. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.